Let me know. Oh, good morning. Good morning, everybody. Here we are at our wrap up of season 2 of the G sessions, our also wrap up of the year. We started the G sessions on June 15th, and we've had about, I think, 14 episodes, season 1 and season 2. It's been a great revelation and a learning experience for me. And I've been just so grateful to have this wonderful team working with me, including Richard, our Director of Marketing, Community Engagement, Alyssa, our Design Director, and Lorna, our untiring Executive Producer. And of course, we do have the rest of the team that, because of the social media aspect of this project, the rest of the team hasn't been directly involved, but has certainly been active to help us get the G project off the ground. And they include Sergio, Peter, Ivy, Jose, the architects, and Susan Myers. So let's see. Let's start with talking a little bit about the history of the project, just very quickly. This phase of it really started in 2019 in April, when we presented a workshop at the Immigrant Heritage Week. And that's when actually we met Richard. Richard was one of the participants. And thank you, Richard, for coming on the project with us. We then went through 2019 thinking about the project, developing it, developing the other aspects, which we'll talk about later. And beginning 2020, we were due to present 3 live performances, 3 live events at our home church, St. Mary's Church in West Harlem. And because of COVID, we had to refocus our energies, and that's how we designed and came up with the G sessions. So we could introduce everybody now, and maybe people want to say a few words. Should we start with Lorna?
Sure. Good morning. It's so great to be with everyone. So my name is Lorna Harris, executive producer, and I'm a G7. It is thrilling, compelling, this sense of discovery of being involved in the G project and knowing what my G status was. When I first got on board, I really didn't understand anything about a G status. And working as the executive producer on this project that's so timely, immigration, it also brings up other issues that surround immigration, and this project has been a way for us to stay true to our mission of the commonalities of all of us, that we're all immigrants. So that's what I've learned. That's what I am directing this project towards, and I'm just excited to be here this morning. And what does the other team members have to say?
I can jump in. So my name is Alyssa Kritzman. I'm the design director for the G project, and as a daughter of immigrants and on both sides of my family, this project has been so important to me to really open up conversations with other people that may not be familiar with different cultures. And I just want people to be less afraid of the differences that we all, everyone has their own perspective and story. So it's been really great hearing everyone's, family history and giving people this platform to do so. So Richard, if you want to go ahead.
Thank you, Alyssa. Thank you, everyone. Good morning. My name is Richard Pelzer. I'm the communications and marketing director for this amazing project that we're actually doing, which is an art project, and it's a public art project, and it's very dear to my heart for the simple fact that by nature, I'm just about the community. So community engagement and audience development. And what I've discovered and learned, it's so much about my family. As you see on and under my name, I'm a G6. I got a chance to, talk to my dad and my grandparents about our history. And it really kind of opened up the doors for us to, as a family, especially during this pandemic, to another way for us to connect. So even though we're not together, I get a chance to, explore this with my sisters and my nephews and, some of my extended family, pulling out Bibles and looking at, all of the other information. So it's been a journey, and I'm looking forward to sharing this with as many people as possible. Hopefully they'll be willing to join us on this venture.
Well, that's wonderful, wonderful, wonderful to hear from everybody. To me, like, warms my heart to know that you're each getting something from just being involved in this project. And I think that's when we talk about highlights and what have been great moments for me, it's this idea that an idea like this can actually bring so many people around the table and get each of us to speak to other people and involve our families, our friends, and in our own research, which we've never done before, and then share it. And I think that's such a powerful tool. I'm just realizing myself. And that's what a public art campaign is, right? It's one by one. We just tell stories.
Right.
Yeah.
So Edward, you talked about special moments. And I know that all of us in dealing with this project to date have some special moments. And quite a few come to mind. But something that's been interesting, the concept of storytelling. In our tradition of African American and many cultures, we have griots, and things are passed down orally. In the 21st century, we have the opportunity of leadership and the ability to pivot to technology and to use technology in ways that I never thought were really possible. Being in this little box with you this morning, some of my special moments have to deal with technical issues. The very first G session that I did, I couldn't find my guests. He didn't know how to enter into the room, but yet once he shared who he was, where he came from, his G status, the special gift that he brought to share with everyone, it just was full circle. And it brought everything together and let us know that we can still carry on our cultural traditions through knowing our G status. So that's my special moment. What about you guys? How about you, Alyssa? Any special moments?
Yeah, I think speaking to Carlos during the interview I had with him, I loved hearing about the interactions he had with, especially working on the AOC campaign, and what that learning curve was to really understand the community that she was coming from, and what they needed, the research that needed to be done to help inform the design, to reach out to the community, the constituents that she, now works for. So I think that was really, really neat. And then also hearing about his own story as an immigrant directly from, immigrating from Colombia, and what his upbringing was like and how much it differed to a lot of his peers. And a lot of what he said really resonated with me, being a child of an immigrant. So I thought that was really informative to learn about. And in speaking with Samantha Zerini, her points about accessibility in design and the translation of words I never gave thought to previously, and how when you're translate, certain things obviously mean different things in other languages, but that translation to English could really confuse people depending on where they're from. So I thought that was really neat to learn about, and kind of opened up my eyes a little bit, especially since I working with design, and accessibility is so important in what I do. So those were my two highlights, and I was grateful to learn from both of them. Richard, do you want to?
Sure. I had a few highlights, so I'm going to really generalize my full-on experience, because it was a common theme that kind of sparked and had me starting to think about a number of different things. And it really was about the relationship of G0s and G1s and how the relationship of them now coming to a new country, learning a new language, trying to figure out what to do and how to kind of fit in. And as a young person, I went to school in Providence, Rhode Island, and at a Catholic school, which was Bishop McVinney. And we had students from Laos, and we have students from Cambodia and Vietnam and Peru, and it was kind of like normal because they were just friends. But when I went to their house, it was like a whole different thing. Like the food was different. They were speaking a totally different language. I'm like, wait, like it was kind of weird to me at the time, because at school they speak full on English, and then they go home and they would totally kind of change. And so listening to some of the stories of how folks had to navigate between their parents and then their friends, and the way that they dressed and the music they listened to, was kind of, remembering that stuff kind of brought it back to me. And I thought that was, fascinating. And I didn't know some of the things that they were actually going through. Like, I needed to fit in and I wanted to do this, but we can't really do that because my parents won't let me, whatever, blah, blah, blah. Like, why? I don't understand. So now I kind of understand some of that. So I thought that was great, and it was very eye-opening. And as Lorna mentioned, the sense of discovery has been, phenomenal. And if we had more dialogues like this, I think that we would be able to understand a little bit more too. So I just wanted to kind of just share that moment and experience.
That's beautiful. It actually reminds me of growing up in Montreal, going to school, similar situation. We had there's a Greek and a Moroccan and someone from Ghana and someone from Haiti and people from all over the world. And here we were in public school, right? Going from class to class. And after school, you'd go and have milk and cookies or whatever at people's homes. We'd smell different things. And then you go back to yours, right? But you never really thought deeply, and we never sat down and talked to those friends that we had then to learn more, probably because they didn't even know much either. They were just growing up in their households. And suddenly by bringing these kinds of stories to the forefront, it's really powerful. I mean, for me, from each one of the interviews that you guys did, and as a result, I met people who I have never seen before, and I'm now looking forward to meeting them in person, because I feel like each one of them touched me personally. And so when I think about what these G sessions are doing, they're using this ancient form of communication, storytelling, which we have in all cultures, right? We all have that storytelling culture, oral tradition, as we call it, and technology. So that suddenly I'm looking at you face to face. I'm looking at Janice. I'm looking at Carlos. I'm looking at people I've never met. And it's just so powerful to actually be able to make use of this tool called technology for us to actually connect. That's a very powerful thing.
So with that, my job is to do this call to action, like what would we like all of our viewers to actually do? And I like to do it in 3 steps. So the first step that I would love for everyone to do is to go to our website, to thegproject.org, and to just peruse and see the videos that we actually have, some of our past videos of the G Session 1 and G Session 2. We also did an amazing, our first convening or a workshop that we would love for you to actually to see. The second thing, we would love to hear your stories, and you would be able to submit as well. So on our website, it gives you a step-by-step one on how you would be able to submit your stories and submit your images and pictures or videos that you would like to actually share. And then Alyssa will make sure that they get up and look wonderful and beautiful. And then our last thing that I would love for you to do is, we are a nonprofit, so we would love for you to make a donation. And to keep this process going. We're in 2021. We have a number of exciting things that we will share later on in our show. But if you would be able to do those three things, I think that would be really great. And I'm just going to throw this out to my team members. If I forgot anything, I think this is a great time to kind of add to it.
I think you wrapped it up really well. Of course, we are happy to have as many people involved as possible. We need you. You know, the only way to carry this project out is the storytelling has to continue. You know, you become the storyteller, you encourage someone else to tell their stories, and we all circulate that together. But I do want to think about what you guys feel is the importance of this project. I guess we've all explained why we got involved, but let's think forward. And before we talk about specific ideas we have, what really do we want to feel a year or two down the road that we've accomplished? Where would you like to go?
Well, I'll jump in. One of the things that is really important to me is this ability to connect. When you get to know me, it's hard to hate me. And I don't think that we have the opportunity enough to be able to really share our stories. I believe it was Alyssa that mentioned earlier that there's so many similarities. So, you know, there's amazingness that when you got to hear our stories, we are very similar, but our differences is also what makes us special as well, that it can easily be celebrated. And so I just love that idea of creating these spaces and this dialogue and even this art to actually showcase that, you know, there are some amazing, wonderful people, nothing to be scared about if you don't understand, and it's not a threat. It can be celebrated. So I just wanted to share that.
And I think to that tune, I would love for our guests that have, you know, been a part of this, as they watch videos and these interviews, if there's anything that they that sort of resonates with them, I would love to connect our guests together in the future. You know, I think that would be really great. And maybe future collaborations between the people that have participated could kind of come out of that, which could be really neat.
So having a safe space is really important in the world, to me, in the world that we're living in today. We create, again, back to these boxes, we create our own environment of how to function and how to move forward and how we deal with the pandemic. But the issues that have come out of these conversations have always been the same. Again, back to tradition, culture, gender, food, how we raise our children, what our values are, how our vision is supported. And these conversations seem to really, really pinpoint all of those issues that propel us forward and that let us deal with issues of humanity, to just be kind to one another, to really, really understand the challenges of immigration. And I've learned that there's so many different levels. You can be a migrant, you can be an immigrant, you can be a refugee. What does all of that mean? And we only know what that means is by hearing directly from those people who were directly impacted by their G status.
Yep.
And I also think, Lorna, it would be great to provide that platform for people within communities, because I think it's a little bit easier when you're living, especially now that we have technology, there's kind of no excuse to try to meet people of different backgrounds. So I think using this as a tool in the future and continuing on would be really great to have people participate and share their stories, so that other people that aren't accessible to them can still learn from each other.
Yep.
So by that you mean, Alyssa, just so I understand, you mean sharing, you mean developing the G sessions within different communities?
Yeah, because there's so many different, yeah, exactly. And I think that what we have is so rich And it would be great to sort of permeate these communities that aren't exposed to different cultures as, easily as it is for, us or you guys being in New York and other major cities. I think it's really important to sort of get on that grassroots level within predominantly, I guess, whiter communities that I think that'll help sort of break down those barriers that the G Project is all about.
And even within various white, brown, Black communities, right? You have so many different ethnicities. So perhaps what you're saying is, can we set up G sessions within the Lebanese community, in collaboration with a community center, for instance? Yeah. And because as we expose people in that community to this form of storytelling, then they too will become interested in other people. They'll start plugging in. That's exactly. A very good idea.
I'm sorry. Didn't mean to cut you off, Edward, but that just brings to mind, and we're all going to talk more about this, I know, but of what's to come, of really, really what's to come. So as a public art campaign, we bringing this project together, the conceptual artistic direction comes from our artistic director, Edward Hillel. And Edward himself is an immigrant. We are all immigrants in different ways with different G statuses, but of what we want to do as a public art campaign, what does that look like? We talked about an exhibition. We talked about our pop-ins. We talked about convenings. Let's share more of that. What do you think, Richard?
Well, one of the things that I love that we've been actually doing is we've expanded into our merchandise, which I think is actually another way and another form of storytelling in itself. So I'm going to throw it to Alyssa before that too.
We have
let me see.
Wow, yeah. That looks great.
Beautiful big thing, and they come with these filters automatically, which is great. But yeah, in 2021, we're going to be planning for a pre-sale of t-shirts, and we'll have masks. And if you're a guest, your masks are in the mail already, so keep an eye out for those. But yeah, so we're hoping that people can enjoy wearing our merchandise and spreading the word to their friends.
And I think that that merchandise is also a buy-in too, that people would be able to, feel necessary for us to share those stories. So thank you, Alyssa, very much for all of that. And
wearing a mask is super important.
There's a section on our website too. I'm just bringing everybody to the website, which go to gproject.org, and you'll be able to see all of those. And it really does support and help us as well to, continue this. But to answer your question, Lorna, I'm very excited about the future of the G Project, especially in 2021. Due to we have a captive audience, a lot of people are working from home now, that they would be able to, one, discover and review all of the videos that we have done in the past. But we are gearing up for season 3 of our G sessions. And our G sessions for number 3 is we asked all of our past guests if they would be able to assist and host and to invite someone that they would like to interview. And we're planning that now, and hopefully we'll be able to kick that off in early February. That would lead us right into our New York Immigrant Week, which we're very, very excited about. So I don't know if anybody wanted to jump in on that, or do you just want me to knock them all out real quick?
Well, I mean, Immigrant Heritage Week is. Go ahead, Lorna.
No, it's great. Great minds always think alike, and that's why we're such a good team.
Yes.
But I'm really excited about the concept of expansion with bringing on the next set of cohorts of our hosts for the G sessions. We learned so much from these people. And then they have a whole wealth of information and experiences to share with future audiences. So I'm excited about that.
I am too.
That's very powerful.
Yeah. All right, Edward.
Yes. So we were saying, what were we saying?
Oh, well, we were also just talking about some of the other platforms that we would like.
Immigrant Heritage Week 2020. You want to give us a little background on that? I know.
No, go ahead.
On it.
On how we are connected with the city. I think that would be really great. I'm gonna leave that to you.
Well, yes. So we started working with the New York City Office of Immigrant Affairs, MOIA. They organize Immigrant Heritage Week every year in mid-April. And this will be our third collaboration with them. And this year, I believe we have been invited to make a presentation at Governor's Island, if I'm correct, in partnership with Art Crawl Harlem, which is another extraordinary organization, our sister brother organization. And we are plotting that out. We're trying to figure out what we're going to think about, what that's going to look like, how long we'll be there, how much of it will be virtual, how much will be on site. You know, the flexibility needed during these times, you know, has played well into how we've been slowly, you know, working and really constructing this project, making it up as we go along.
Yeah. And as Alyssa mentioned, you know, collaboration is really important. And you mentioned Art Crawl Harlem. And this is an extension of what we're looking at doing in 2021, as well as our pop-in. So we're going to be revealing next year our first pop-in, and we're doing that in collaboration with Art Crawl Harlem. And Lorna is spearheading that. So would you like to share a little bit about that, Lorna?
Sure. Again, during the pandemic, life still goes on. And Art Crawl Harlem is having a fabulous exhibit. You might have seen the press because they've gotten a lot of press. Amsterdam News, Channel 7, you name it, Facebook, all the social media. But there are a group of artists that have this exhibit called Fire and Soul.
Fire and Soul, 100 Years of Harlem.
Fire and Soul, 100 Years of Harlem. And how interesting is that? Can we go back 100 years? So the G Status is going to approach artists who are exhibiting, and we're going to do a quick pop-in, and we're going to interview each artist and ask them what their G Status is. We're also going to be pleased to get their autograph, and we'll be posting this on our website, and it's an extension of our public art campaign. The public art campaign still continues, and we add layer and layer of expertise and creativity to what is your G Status. So that's what that's about. But we're also doing other pop-ins for 2021, and we're really dealing with immigrant business owners, immigrant artists, and just, again, telling the stories, popping into certain establishments and asking people what is their G Status. It may be virtual, it may be live.
Excellent. I'm very excited about that. And then some new shows that we're going to be adding, which we had talked about for 2020. Now we get to do it in 2021. We would love to have and roll out our podcast. So all of the folks, and especially in New York, we don't drive as much, but for all of the folks that drive to work, you can actually listen to your podcast as we are actually sharing the stories. So I'm very excited about that. So that's going to be in developing, coming sometime in 2021.
Okay.
Definitely. And of course, we consistently think about how to expand our circles. So ideally, I think for 2021, we would like to start hopefully appearing live in various boroughs of New York, as well as start to reach out to other cities, hopefully in partnership with the New York City Office of Immigrant Affairs, to see how we can bring this conversation in different ways through the exhibitions, through these podcasts, through workshops on site to the rest of the country. This is I would say this is probably a 5-year plan, but this is where we want to be going.
Yes.
So we're coming to the end, you guys. Can you believe 30 minutes have come and gone? So any final words that everyone, I'll start off and we'll go around, and then we'll let Edward, you know, wrap us out, since he started us off, and wrap us out. But I just want to say it's been an amazing ride, an amazing journey with all of my G Project associates. So I love working with each and every one of you. And I look forward to creating some wonderful and exciting things in 2021 and beyond.
Yeah, and thank you so much to all of our guests that have participated and shared our social media. Again, just to echo what Richard said, please go to our website, go like our Facebook and Instagram, and give that a share as well. And we all look forward to having you in season 3 and in 2021.
Ditto to everything and everybody. And we can only go up and up and up and up and up. And we can't do it without your help. We really need each other. So what is your G status? Immigrants Are Us. The Generation Project lives on.
The journey continues then. And of course,
yes.
We can't do it without the 4 of us, the rest of our team, and the world out there. So wonderful. Have a wonderful end of year, and see you in 2021.
See you in 2021.
Bye.
Bye.